Hi, I'm Chris Conrad, a court-qualified cannabis expert witness. To learn more about me, come to chrisconrad.com. I'm here today to talk to you about Proposition 64, the Adult Use of Marijuana Act, also known as ALMA, and how it affects medical marijuana patients. In 1996, California voters passed Proposition 215, the Compassionate Use Act, that created Health and Safety Code 11362.5 and created a legal defense for a patient and caregiver to cultivate and possess marijuana for medical purposes. Proposition 64 is on the November 2016 ballot, and it would legalize non-medical use of marijuana, including cultivation, possession, sharing, and transportation of limited amounts. There's a lot of misinformation that conflates Proposition 215, Senate Bill 420, the Medical Marijuana Regulation and Safety Act, and the various 17 drafts of initiatives that were filed last year in the state of California, but only one made the ballot. I've read Proposition 64, and it lets medical marijuana stand. In fact, it protects it 9 times. The courts have ruled that a doctor's recommendation means a patient can have any reasonable amount of medical marijuana. Prop 64 limits what a non-medical user can have, but it lets the patient continue to have more. The courts have ruled that local governments can ban patient gardens, but Prop 64 overturns bans on enclosed indoor gardens statewide so that people can grow at home whether they're medical marijuana patients or not. The legislature voted in 2015 to end SB 420 collective defense against cultivation, possession, and sharing and sales of marijuana. Prop 64 allows all adults to cultivate, possess, and share marijuana with or without a doctor's note, and creates regulated access to sales. Courts have said that police can search medical marijuana patients over the presence of a small amount of marijuana or even the odor of marijuana. Prop 64 will stop those searches. It says that any lawful amount of marijuana is not to be the basis for a further search by law enforcement. So if you have a small amount of marijuana or you smell like cannabis, it's no longer a basis for a patient to be searched, as long as they're an adult. The medical marijuana is subject to the state sales tax, but Prop 64 makes an exception for people who have a state medical marijuana ID card. Well, those medical marijuana state ID cards can be expensive, especially on top of the cost of a doctor's approval. They can cost hundreds of dollars. But Prop 64 sets a cap on how much the local governments can charge for those, and it also allows discounts for Medi-Cal and for indigent patients. Prop 64 doesn't stop there. It adds privacy rights for patients. It adds parental and custodial rights for patients. Prop 64 says that if your doctor makes a mistake when he's recommending medical marijuana to you, it's not going to be held against you as a patient. Prop 64 legalizes some things and it reduces other penalties, but it protects the medical marijuana defenses and rights against all the same charges as there was previously. So Prop 64 makes it legal for all adults, and patients are still taken care of for their special needs. I'm a medical marijuana patient myself, and I'm voting yes on Proposition 64. Won't you join me?